Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live. My name is Jim Cagnina. I am Senior Market Strategist, and I am joined for Hot Commodities with Senior Economist, the fabulous Tracy Shuchart, aka Shy Girl. Shy, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon to you too, Jim.
So, what kind of exciting news did I miss over the lunch hour?
All right. So we did have the FOMC notes come out. These are a month old notes, but it was leaned slightly hawkish. Several said the current rate might not be far from above neutral. Several noted concerns about elevated asset valuations. Shocking. Several expected companies would pass through tariffs to customers. There was risks flagged on inflation expectations becoming unanchoring, and many noted that the effects of tariffs could take some time. So it did lean kind of hawkish, which we kind of already know. We only had two dissenters last month, so kind of knew that. That said, we did see a little bit of a downturn in the markets. As a reaction from that, we also had Waller talk at the technological advancements in payments seminar. This is he released it was a pre-written speech, but he was talking about the Fed's going stablecoin and crypto lately. So he was talking about stable coins. He thought that they would anchor the dollar's position in the global economy and make that stronger, and noted that it gives access to hold U.S. dollars, particularly in countries with high inflation or without easy or affordable access to dollar cash or banking services, and that they have a potential to improve retail and cross-border payments. The other day we just had the Fed, come out and say that they wanted to hold some crypto just to see what it's like. So seems that the Fed is getting all into crypto and stable coins. So that is, and that was the news while we were away.
And I'm sure there's no downside for stable coins. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah, I kind of looked into that. There are several kind of nefarious things that they are known for. They are known for money laundering, terrorist financing, sanctions evasion, crypto scams and fraud, and ransomware payments. So, just a few activities that they have been known to be used for.
Well, there you go. But speaking about elevated asset prices, we got to talk. We got to have a follow up. Jared was great this morning, but we have to have a follow up because my live cattle chart is exploding right now.
We another new all-time high. We did talk to Jared, and he said, reiterated what we've talked about before, where 2020, 21, and 22 prices were so depressed that ranchers had to basically send their cattle to slaughter early because they couldn't afford to keep them. They were losing money. That shrank our herd, and now we kind of have the opposite problem going on right now. We also still have the U.S. border remaining closed to imports, and so all of these factors combined are just pushing futures prices higher because we haven't seen any dent in consumer demand despite high prices.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, this daily chart is really extraordinary. I mean, and this is a steady march uphill, maybe a couple of red candles, profit taking, rollover, whatever you want to call it, every once in a while. But we're just marching along that ADMA nonstop. Today, we had a nice, actually, if you think about it, we had a nice area of resistance, approximately 232 spot 17, right where my crosshairs is. But today we just blew it out of the water at 234 spot 85. So this is an extraordinary chart, and the folks that I've been talking to are suggesting this is nowhere near done yet. So we'll see if consumer demand how strong it is if live cattle doubles in price. But right now, stochastics are up high. It just is just explosive chart here. Same with feeder cattle, but this was the big one that stuck out today. So Shai,
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
pivot. Yeah, let's pivot over to crude oil right now. Crude oil is actually up almost 2%.
So almost 2%, kind of held that 61.70 level that I have been eyeing for a very long time. That's been on my chart forever. The level below that was 60.88, but we have been holding that for 2 days, and again retested today and took off again. We had a bigger expected weekly drop in U.S. crude inventories that came out today. And we are kind of hitting that level where we have seen E&Ps come out and say, we're going to cut CapEx and we're going to take wells offline if we spend time, kind of below that $60 level. And so this area is very important for support. I know we hit 55 a couple times this year after we got larger than expected tapering from OPEC Plus, but it really didn't stay there long. It was there for a day. So, this is a very big psychological level as well.
Yeah, it does seem to correct quickly. I mean, I have that May support zone still on my chart. I'm just going to keep tracking this, and that's right at that 60.8 level, the 80 level you were talking about. But right now, we have a little bit of a fight back up to that ADMA. We wicked to it. We haven't closed above it yet, but we did wick to it. So that's some kind of progress. We have a little bit of support down here also at 61.71. So again, we're in the October contract right now, and we'll see. I mean, this could be nothing burger, or it could be the start of a move up. I don't know. But intraday, it's pretty much we lost VWAP in the rearview mirror, and then we had a couple of times. First time right after the London initial balance where we actually closed below VWAP. This is the session VWAP. Then we went right back up. Then we closed below it again. So really kind of volatile today. I would suggest the day traders, a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity, a lot of risk, of course, but a lot of movement in crude oil today. Right now we're above that VWAP. We're kind of marching up to that 1-day max, that Methyl Q 1-day max level. And that's approximately, I'll tell you, it's not approximately, it's 63. No, let's short of 63. My bad. 62.95. And then right above that is those 0 DTE gamma levels at 63 even. We wicked to it once. Right now, it looks like we're driving up there again. If I had to put after the initial balance resistance, I would put that at 62.86. So we're right above it right now. We'll see if this just ends up as a wick. Again, this is a 30-minute candle, or if this is the real thing. Commodity Channel Index is trying to pop back up over that 200 level. So 134 right now. And cumulative delta is positive again. And actually, it might be the most positive it's been all day at 5,227. So looking peppy right here for the October crude oil market. And Shai, let's hit gold next.
Yeah, and I just wanted to remind traders, if you don't want to jump into the big contract, there is a micro crude contract as well that you can trade. So this is not a market you're used to trading, start with the micro contracts. But moving on to gold. So we've got gold prices up today. Nice bounce today. I mean, we're still kind of in a rather large consolidation range, but still in a consolidation range. Those dips do keep getting bought. I think what also helped gold today was we have the dollar down, and we had some risk off in risk assets. Obviously, we still have ongoing geopolitical tensions. We still don't know what's happening with Russia-Ukraine peace talks. We still have expectations building for the Federal Reserve to signal rate cuts this year. We'll find out on Friday when we hear from Powell. I'm not sure he's going to say what people or markets may want, but we will find out. And we still have, that underlying bid from central banks that will buy no matter what price it is.
Yeah, I mean, on the daily chart, today's candle, the body of today's candle is relatively large. It's probably the largest candle since we had that day after the doji here on August 8th. But we're right bumping up against that 80 EMA and the 21 EMA. They're converging. They're very tight. They're going sideways right here. So really, what I'm hoping for is a close above, maybe tomorrow, or maybe today, but probably not, maybe tomorrow. A strong close above those EMAs to see if we can get continuation up to this target wick that's way up here, 35.34. I know it's a big ask, but it could definitely happen. Stochastics, though, aren't helping my cause here. Nicely sloping downward after the cross under. This was actually a pretty nice signal continuation all the way through yesterday. Although today we're having buyers come in. Let's just check out the really quickly here. We'll just look at this chart. This is a beautiful chart. It really, really is a nice chart. I mean, we lost VWAP in the rearview mirror around midnight. And, we had a little bit of pause in the London initial balance, and we kept rolling. And then we've been trading between the U.S. initial balance. We did have a wick above and a wick below the initial balance after it was established, which was only at I think 10.25% probability at edge fill, by the way. But it did happen just barely though, and we're right there at that 1 day max again. So kind of a nice price point right here for gold. Probably going to settle within that initial balance today. All right, Shai, that is today's hot commodities report. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, and I'll see everybody in the chat.
It is that time, folks. It is that time to trade the close. This is the Wednesday crew. XYZ pulling double time from the West Coast, and we have Northern Texas represented. Nick Furtick here this afternoon. How you guys doing?
Nick's muted. Nick, you're
I'm
muted.
back.
Been a while, guys.
Hey, Jim. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. What's your hat, Nick? I can't see that good.
So I had to get this hat to try to upstage XY a little bit with his Bass Pro Shop. So had to bring out the Shields hat. If you know, you know.
Got some real competition cooking today.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. In any event, anybody in the trade right now?
I think
I
we're on
am, and
opposite
I'm
ends.
slowly hating my short that I didn't cover more than the single that I covered as we are heading back towards my entry.
Oh, it was nice fill though, Nick.
It was when we were kind of breaking down a little bit right before the FOMC minutes, and just thought we were going to get a touch lower down here towards kind of the 80s, but no dice.
Oops. I think I messed up my screen share. Let's see. Are we good?
I don't know, Nick. I kind of like this.
I mean, I'm holding it.
I don't
already
like
paid
it.
for it with one.
I don't
and
like
my
it at all.
stop's at break even. XY just doesn't love that he's been long since
I don't like it
the
at all.
RTH VWAP or something, knowing him.
It's hard to take, it's when you have this, we've had this bull market has been so strong for so long. I mean, the SPUs are at 6,400. I mean, and so when you get like a couple of down days in a row, there's this kind of mentality out there. It's like, all right, the sky is falling when we're still in a strong bull market. So
Right.
taking shorts, you got to be real particular on your entries. And I like your entry, Nick.
Yeah, it's kind of the value area high of the session, as well as we kind of came up, kind of failed at the overnight lows. So figured I'd take the stab. I've had a weird day. I was very red, ended up coming back to green in my personal, and yeah, we're seeing how well this is going to work out. But I was red. I was deeply red, trying to knife catch a little too early this morning.
I got it. And
I had
then
to change my hat to compete since we're on opposite ends of this trade right now. I had to open up the trunk real quick.
that was like a Beyonce level wardrobe change right there on the show.
Betrayal.
Anyway, so XYZ, you are long right now. Looks like a 4 lot.
I had 7. I took 3 off. Somewhere around here actually. It's on
All
it.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere around here took 3. So I'm holding on to 4 now. I want these 2 and then hopefully can hold 2.
Yeah, this
If
is a
they
great
take too
example.
long, I'm just gonna cover more. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, this is
getting
a
a little.
great example how somebody could be long and somebody could be short, and both could be great trades.
Well, I actually opened up earlier in the green room short, and I had like 3K open, 4K open P&L, and it just took me out break even. So it started with heartbreak.
I wasn't going to mention that.
Oh, you saw it. Huh? Yeah, they can see backstage, guys.
Oh man. Well, in any event, thank you, gentlemen, for being here with us this afternoon on a NinjaTrader Live and laying it out for us. Greatly appreciate that. I am going to dip into the chat and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
See you, Jim.
All right. Chat, how we doing? How's everyone handling the 2 days of downside volatility we've seen? Well, yesterday, I guess less volatility, really just kind of slow, trendy downside.
They're actually giving us some range for the stream,
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. Well, you
unless
just
they
probably
start
jinxed it now
contracting
that
the
I said
range.
that. We're probably just going to rotate between the 230s and 270s forever.
I'm trailing 2 lots now because they are taking a while up here. Yeah, today's been good to me, guys. Some days the market's a little more generous towards me. Some days not so much. Shab Shab, don't look away. So Shab texted me and Chris, and she said whoever makes the most money this week has to buy dinner.
I'm going to get stopped.
Yeah, honestly, Matt, after today, I mean, you know me from the OFL streams. Today is one of those days where I'm not trading the rest of the week, but they put a gun to my head and said you better show up on Friday. So I'm off until Friday. Some days you're the pigeon, some days you're the statue. What is Nick's Jim says like some days you're the car, or some days you're the windshield and some days you're the bug, something like that. Yeah, I'm chilling. That's why I'm trailing these 2 lots here and break even. I've been break even pretty fast because I don't want to give back much, but it started in some heartbreak for the stream.
It started with some heartbreak from the day as a whole, I think, for a lot of people.
Dude, yeah, so today I had 3 break evens. One was 2K, another one was 2K, and one was 4K just before we got on camera. So yeah. But hey, it's because I didn't want to give money back. I don't want to open the window to losing a nice round number on the day.
Yeah, I feel you.
That
Going from
gets
red
me
to
mad.
green is always a good reminder of when to kind of call it a session and kind of reflect that, okay, you took a couple bad trades, but you're able to dig yourself out of it. Not necessarily being patient, but just kind of waiting for the next setup versus just snowballing further and further into a deeper red day.
Let's see if they can cover these 2. You know what? Maybe I'll move this into the low volume area. So we've got them sandwiched here. I'm either covering at 260s or 77 on these 2.
All
Oh,
right, they
that's what
got
I
my
got.
stop.
Nice. Okay, really? I'll blow up the whole deal over 20 bucks. I'll do it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll just chase it. All right, I covered it. Chase down the cover. They were literally one ticking me. I'm gonna go down to 1 and I'll trail 1 here. Yeah, I'm done for the week, guys. Until Friday morning when I will see you again. Shab came on at just the right time. I hate it. Some days you're the nose, some days you're the booger. There are a lot of versions of this, huh? Yeah, I mean, Jeff, today it looks nice. The number looks nice, but the trades could easily go the other way and it looks totally different.
My name is Jeff.
Stowe, what's up, Stowe? Hey, the gang's all here.
Everybody's
What's up,
hanging out this
Chris?
afternoon.
Kane, are you still short? So my own friends, Nick and Kane, they've turned their back on me. Oh no? Okay. Yeah, it's only buying now, guys, please.
I got stopped out, so but it looks like sellers are trying to come in here right now.
I think they're gonna take out my runner right here too.
Which, I mean, if I left my stop at break even, I'd still be in this trade. So it is what it is. I took one off, paid for it.
I really thought that short was just gonna like give us a super banger trade.
It looked really good for a hot second there.
I know.
Okay, apparently that was all sellers had.
I'm alive.
Grover, my target was down towards the 80s. It kind of died at previous week's low.
Honestly, I might just,
Take it off.
yeah, I'll leave it. This is a tough one.
Yeah, it's that same spot we've kind of just been ping-ponging off.
Mm-hmm.
70s and 80s.
Yeah, I'll leave it here. I think we might have a chance at overnight low if they can. I think if they can trade above tens, it's going to be overnight low. I'll give them a shot.
You might have jinxed us. Talking about the range expansion. Actually giving us a range.
Well, it was a nice 10 minutes. Guess that's why the both of us had to get our positions in before we got on camera.
Right?
JD, that's insane. I was deeply read this AM, just closed the day up 6,500. That is
Nice.
insane.
It's a great day. I was down a little over 4,000 and grinding my way back to 1,500. So happy about that.
420 or death? 420. Whoa, that's up there.
I mean, that would
I'm
be
not
back
sure
in the open.
they'll drag me up there. I think they're about to take me out on the runner here. Super tight trail. I always trail pretty tight, guys, because I don't like to give back too much. And you can always just get long again if you really want to, or short again, depending where you are.
Maybe back to the 240s.
Spaghetti. No, I don't look for like certain numbers of colored candles. Like an Ashi to me is more for cleaning up the price action, making it a little more smooth, more like linear instead of like just different candle opens and closes everywhere. So it's a easier glance for me. So that's pretty much what it is. Below 270s, candle short. Can't argue with that. It's going up. Nobody's going short ever again. How do I avoid getting in early? That's a good question. So if you notice on this long, they did poke it further down and they did hold it higher. So I didn't get in here. I got in after here. So I always wait for, so in this example, we're long. I want to see them hold higher, which means the market is unable to push price lower. That has to be the first parameter to going long. It's not about, oh, buyers are in, buyers are showing up. It's more of, I want sellers, the market to show to me that sellers are unable or unwilling to continue pushing price lower first. And then you look to see if the bid now is going to step up with price. So that's how I avoid getting in early. But because of that, you'll see like I'm not going to get the best prices. Like this morning's short at VWAP, I could have got like way better prices, but I just waited it out. Yeah. So that's how I do things. I just wait for it. I'm not concerned about the best price. I want to get in when I think it's going to happen. And wherever the market is, that's going to be where the sizing comes into play. I can't size the same on everything because what if the stop has to be wider? I'm not trying to risk all that money for a maybe, right? Every trade is a maybe.
I was debating on getting back into this.
Stowe.
What did Stowe do?
Stowe says, I'm long low a day, but only because I bought every 5 points down.
That's how this morning felt at times for me. I took like 2 really dumb stop outs and then finally was just like waiting and waiting and waiting for us to get back over like 75s and yes before I got long and made back my whole day.
Reversal, yeah. Glad I can help. It pays. Honestly, patience really does pay because it keeps you out of a lot of the not so good maybes. Every trade's a maybe, but they're not all equal. What's the Dom saying? Not too much. They're trying to figure it out. I waited for a higher high, higher low. How do you guys use order flow? This AM, I was looking for confirmation that the downside pressure was ending. How do I use order flow? I guess it'd be like how I described earlier. I would want to see an attempt at selling that cannot drive price further and for it to step off first, right? And that's cool. That's cool and all, but I want to see buying willing to buy higher. So I don't want to be the first buyer, right? The best prices will be the first buyer and the first seller. I don't want to be the first buyer or seller. So there's no like top tick fancy trades that I can show, right? It's always going to be like a higher low or lower high. That's always what it's going to look like on price. Unless it's a sweep of a level. So this morning right here was pretty nice. I wanted it. I would have got in sooner if it swept this blue line, but it didn't. I did get this long because it swept my zone and came back. So there's the difference there. But if it's not like a key high time frame zone or level, I will be entering on failed second attempts, is I guess you could say it, a failed second attempt. Kane. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know, Kane, because Shab's making me pay for dinner for her and Chris. So my pockets are gonna be like bunny ears. No money.
So then I guess we better hit a new low of the day.
I gotta find another trade. Gotta pay for dinner with Kane now. Yeah, you guys think I made money today. Kane made way more. So he should be buying me dinner. Where was my entry like the time? Probably like 11:33. 11:33, 11:34 my time. Pacific. I don't know what that is for you guys. You gonna accompany Kane on that short?
Am I? No. Back to the 240s, the 24-hour VWAP and just immediate bounce.
Yeah, Gummit. And that's actually a really good thing to consider. It's not about the price. It's when the entry was, right? That's a really important part of any kind of breakdown. It's like, when was it? Because what was the trigger and then what was the risk? So yeah, it's a good question.
Where's Jared? I believe Jared will be on after us today for the retail therapy session. Yep, there you go. Jared will be joining us at the bell today. So don't run away, don't leave the stream because he'll be coming on right after we close it down as far as the trading hours.
They're really trying to buy it up.
I know. Isn't
They
that
better get some soon or
right back to
Kane
60s?
makes a lot of money. Is the delta profile based off bar count? No. Well, the profile itself, no, it's based off rotations. So I have it set for 50-point rotations now. If it goes 50 points either direction, it'll reset. Over leveraged trader says just go in with 20 contracts.
What could go wrong?
If nothing else, he is consistent. Over leveraged trader. Name checks out. Consistency is the key to success. He's got it. Now he just needs an account, maybe like a $200,000 trading account. The funny bot, he's here. I thought he was a bot. I don't think he's a bot. Maybe he's like using Chat GPT, but he's funny.
Is he here?
I saw him earlier. I saw him earlier in the chat. Alfonso something. I don't think it's a bot because sometimes like one time I was wearing an Eagles hat, we were talking about the Eagles and he gave me some Chat GPT Eagles stuff.
I mean,
Uh
I'm pretty sure we're just going to be hugging this point of control for the rest of today's session. I guess it's still sitting down there at 200s.
the bid's always out there, huh? So what are you just holding a runner until the close or are you targeting something?
Is Stowe still long?
If he's still on. I'm on his wait list for sourdough bread.
Yeah, I need to get on that list myself. So with your, because I feel this way with some of my my break evens and poor management of the rest of my position after taking like one or two off today, and then it's just come back to either stop me out or take me out break even. Do you feel you mismanaged executions today? Because I sure do.
I used to, I would say so. So earlier in the session, um, if I had gotten those two like 2K break evens, if I had just closed it there, I would have, because I wanted that like 10K mark, right? That first trade got me pretty close. And then I was like, dude, I really should have just did that. Um, at the same time, then I always have to reel myself back in. Like that wasn't even the plan then.
Mm-hmm.
I was in, I don't know, it was like 6 lots maybe or five, and it was like maybe 6 lots, and I was like that. If you kept doing that, you're not really getting that much of a move according to your plan. It doesn't make any sense. You're seeing that P&L just because of the size.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I always have to reel myself in. Like earlier with the 4K one, that one hurt a little more because I was planning to take some off. I had 7. I was planning to take some off, and I was like, no, I think if this works, it climbs lower. It should, and I shouldn't cut it off now, right? And it came back, and I kind of like sat with it a little bit, like, did I really do the right thing? And yeah, you look back at the trades that did work and that went according to plan, and ultimately I land on, yeah, I think I did because with dynamic risk, right? It's your R is always dynamic to where you're going. At that moment, I was break even for 4, or if it really washed down, I mean, we can get a move down to what, the 160s, and that's like 70 points on like 6 lots, right? Because I would have scaled out for sure 6 and held 1. And it's like now my scenarios, yeah, it could have been like 4, but not even 4. I wouldn't have ever gotten the 4 because I wouldn't close it all out there, right? It would have been like 3 lots for maybe like a little over 1,000 or so locked in, which then I think back like then that just wouldn't really do much in the grand scheme of the trade, right? That was almost the risk, just the risk. So I'm not getting into trades to book winners that just cover the risk. So my scenarios in my mind remained big winner, break even, and that's that. Because reality is if I did cover the 3, I mean, I would have made out with like, yeah, a little over 1,000, and then the rest, like to get that scenario, I would trade the big win scenario. And you just shouldn't do that. The market's gonna do what it does. We can't control it,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta live with it. So that was I literally sat through it and went through that dialogue with myself, and all those things that I just said right now, literally the word vomit I just gave you guys was my inner dialogue. Yeah, so I see what you're saying, Kane. If the money matters, it's important to take it. The thing is, if the money mattered to take off like those 3 loss for like what was 1,400 bucks, I shouldn't even be trading that size. It wouldn't even make sense. Yeah, so sizing is important. Um, I don't look at my trades via lot size. It's how much am I risking in dollar amounts. That's why I'm always on dollar amounts on my brackets because I gotta see it. Because if I can see it, then I have to respect it. If I'm looking at just points, it's a lot harder for me to really respect the risk the way I should. Um, yeah, it's my way of like just having it in my face. Like, do you understand how much your stop costs on this? That's kind of like what I'm telling myself. So, yeah. Yeah,
What
that
was
was
it?
my whole I know it's long-winded, but that was literally my conversation with myself afterwards. And then I got long.
Reverse. So no, I did not. I attempted to try to bottom tick this flush today. Ended up just getting punched in the face, and then eventually got long again, kind of building in that 75s. And once we got over like 78 in yes, I just rode that up to like 95s. So took two, like I said, two dumb stop outs that just immediately like went long, and it just hit my stop within about 10 seconds during that flush this morning. So some very poor trades. But we're good now.
Yep. Jeff, hindsight is 2020. I think yeah, it might have been Kane. He said at some point in one of his streams earlier on with NT Live, but you know, I think he equated it. I could be mistaken, it might be someone else, but he equated it from stealing from your future self, which yeah, the way you trade consistently is what you're gonna get. So rotation size 50 points, what is profile duration? Duration, there is no duration. It's if it never retraces 50 points and just climbs in one direction for 500 points, you will see this delta profile span 500 points. So it's rotation only. So some days I'll get to desk, right? And I see 250 points and the delta profile is all 250 points. And if my settings are like, say, 30 points, and I'll know that this move is for real because they couldn't even pull it back 30 points at any point. So these directional traders are very strong. So that's one way you can use it for a glance. Reverso, appreciate that, man.
ZS going to make it back to 64.20s.
They're here back at the 300s today after this bounce. Delete this here. So this could offer, yeah, it would be here.
Right back to 300s, 310s.
Man, if they had just swept this, I would have had the nicest long. Just I couldn't even get into that long this morning, man. I just watched the whole thing move up.
This is reminiscent of like any violent down day. And I think that's why so many people were trying to catch or buy it yesterday too during that slow grind. But it's just like we V out of these so often when we're down almost 2% on NQ, and then we somehow close just a modest like 0.5% down.
Yeah, we've got Mike Allen in the chat tried to warn me. Everyone always who's gonna tell me when to click the button? That's the question. Everyone knows where it's gonna go. But who can tell you when to click the button? Stowe's clenched right now. Get him up there, Stowe. My ass is clenched, I'm telling you guys.
Stowe's holding runner for 420.
Dude, that, oh man, that sound bite. Can't lie, it's good. No, Stowe, you're close. Just a casual 100 points away. Got a bit of time.
I mean, ES goes green. I have to change my lights. was that the soundbite? Okay. That one got me. I mean, we're pretty close to me having to change these back to green or blue.
Actually, yeah, no, it's what's unchanged then?
I don't know. We'll have to think of the color.
Well, check
I
back
just go
in.
like white.
Milk.
Purple. Kane says purple. Let me see what I can find for you, Kane.
Where is Kane?
Matt says, XYZ, why did you call overnight low? You were spot on, we're close. Overnight low because, well, this is where the passive offer was, right? We've seen one, two attempts, so we know, and it's really thin volume upside. If they're going to trade into the tens, this is a third attempt back, and that likely means that they're moving these passive sellers out of the way. And there was not much passive sell interest on the way down in the first place in the beginning. So the volume is thin to overnight low, which means, yeah, if they move these guys out of the way, there's no one else in the way leading up to overnight low. So it's just looking at volume. But yeah, the market has shown us here and here that this is where the passive sell is. We do have a little delta, little star print right here. So yeah, if they move this out, overnight low should be pretty easy. Maybe a little higher to the 340s right here until you see more volume.
After all this violence, we're going to end up back where I was long yesterday when you and Stowe were trading.
Well, while we're flat, if you guys can hit the like button, that'd be nice.
Very nice.
It would be very nice if everyone could hit the thumbs up button. There's 642 of you currently watching. And I know you're not here for us necessarily. You're probably here to watch Jared Tendler's session shortly there after we finish. But in the
Pretend
meantime,
you're here for us at least.
I would hate for him to come on the air and not have at least 300 likes. I think we can set a 50% of the viewers quota to actually hit the thumbs up button. And while you're at it, Jim has quest us to push for 150,000 subscribers onto this channel because we're going to do something really awesome when we get there. So help us bridge that gap and hit 150,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. Maybe we'll
Do
do
you
it.
have any idea what it is at 150K?
I have absolutely no idea.
We're not
They
high up
don't-
enough to know.
Yeah, we're too low on the totem pole to be in the know for that one. But
They don't want to tell
I've
the
just been
kids
told
table.
it's going to be very cool.
It could be like a dinner date with Kane or something.
Kane, you on board?
And he has to fly you out too. It's not. I don't know. Depends who you ask. What's up, Chris?
I am from that place where they have tacos.
That's such a funny soundbite. Gas station sushi. Oh, there is still some passive sell, but dude, this bid is not stopping. This bid is not stopping.
No, somebody tried to offer, it looks like, and just
They're gonna
not to get punched
probably
in
go
the
to those
face.
340s at this point.
Okay, back to trading. Fine. That's what we're doing.
Oh, Shab, if you're still here in the chat, I saw the text. That works for me.
I love how you're
And
just
if
responding.
not, Chris can respond on my behalf.
I love that you're answering responses via
Dude,
the
earlier in the
I know
morning
you
stream,
responded to
I was
Sav, which was
midstream
hilarious.
and I get an email from Savannah. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do the Friday stream. You know, Stephen A.
You're just-
Smith,
you're
gotta
just
have your eyes
very
everywhere,
efficient
man.
with your time.
Stephen A. Smith, gotta be everywhere.
They know where to find you. You're on stream, so there's your answer.
I'm just trying to stay efficient, man, you know? It's more personal too. You can see my face.
You just have to hope they're paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Shab is in the chat still, but Chris got me. I saw that one. Hell yeah. Chris said he's paying for all of us. So I gotta make it. Dude, Kane, you have no idea what JD said earlier. This guy said he was in a heavy drawdown and is currently now up $6,500. He's a madman. I cannot imagine either how much trading or how much size he's using. Pat Hall, can't see your faces. I'm not sure you want to see that.
Can't see our faces. Do we still have singles from this morning? Yeah, I guess we do.
I don't see any for NQ. I don't think NQ ever, well, they had to have, yeah, but I don't see any for NQ. Yeah, I don't know if NQ had singles in the morning.
Yeah, now I'm looking at this. Like, did we?
No, I don't think so. Maybe ES. Does ES have any?
ES did, but we filled them.
Yeah, I don't think NQ did. Kane. Singles?
Yeah.
Kane slowly diving in to the order flow mumbo jumbo.
All right, can we just push this to 420, make Stowe happy?
I mean, Jeff, there's always going to be someone that trades bigger size. It's the way of the world, right? There's always someone richer than you are. Doesn't really matter.
I mean, with days like this, you can make a lot of points without needing a lot of size.
Oh yeah. I remember my favorite stretch of the year so far is that February, March, the craziness. I was on micros.
Same.
I was on
Shooting
micros and I made
MES
plenty of money.
and still making like $1,000 trades.
I think the TPT put me on an ad like showing my withdrawals over 2 weeks. They literally put me on Instagram ad and all of those numbers were from micros.
Yep.
I think it was like almost 60K in 2 weeks or something like that. It was all micros. So you don't need to trade bigger size just because.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm doing the dual stream in the morning tomorrow with Chris.
Tomorrow in the what is today?
Today's Wednesday. I don't know why I thought it was Tuesday for some reason.
Tomorrow is you and Chris at the open?
Yep.
And then who's after?
Stowe? Maybe?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Someone? Because Stowe doesn't do Fridays. Wow, it's already Thursday. This week is like flown by. Then we all have to, yeah, it's Stowe.
It me. Uh-oh.
I barely know where I am.
Well, if you email Nick fast enough, Sav, he can reply to you in real time.
Oh, we're
right here
yes,
on stream.
ES is gonna go green, isn't it? I'm gonna have to change my lights. Oops. Let me just test.
Okay, and it was gonna be my Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole gang's here. Love it, man. If you guys can hit the like, please, that would help.
We're doing great. There's 223 likes, but we need to make sure we have 300 before Jared steps
How
in.
how many viewers we got right now?
650. So half of them just
I think you guys can
don't want to contribute.
Yeah. 420 or death.
I mean, it could be
Well,
worse. XY and I could have actually had a 20-point range in NQ. So far, we're breaking out to the
I
upside.
know.
We've given almost 100 points since we've been on the air.
I know.
Hundred points because I've just watched. I guess I'm at this point, I'm not trying to go back to a red day.
Yeah, I think what, okay, so at this point I was long like 150 points ago almost. That's what I gotta live with when I trail though. I'm happy about it. I don't have any regrets. Because if it came back to me, it would suck. So
Yeah, Kane, when I was watching your stream this morning, I had that same thought. I'm like, I'm looking for logical places to get long. And I don't think that's crazy.
wait, Kane, that's what they were saying before I got on? It's funny because me and Kane were both looking for longs.
I think
When I
think
got
a
on, I
lot of
kept
us
telling chat too. I was
were.
like, I'm only looking for longs. I'm not looking for a short down here whatsoever. I even pulled up the high time frame chart, showed them why, like all this and that with the fancy line here and the this. I'm like, what? Why would I try short here? This is a long, if anything. I guess they were giving Kane some shit. I'm glad I missed that. No, Reginald, I'm on minis. I mean, if we get crazy, wacky, like 200 R-vol, 700 point average range days,
Yeah, that's
I'm going back to micros. Yes,
because
because
otherwise you can't really. There was that period like post Liberation Day where like you couldn't enter if you entered in with full size like for minis, like you were stopped
you're
out almost
cooked.
instantaneously.
Yeah, I need at least like 3 to 4 lots mini on all my trades because I want to scale out. So putting that on in that environment would be suicide for me. That's way too much risk. So I would just start legging in micros. I don't know. It could be anywhere from 3 micros at a time, depending, or 6 or 5, right? And there's no way I would trade minis in the February, March environment. Even 3 would be the minimum, and that would be quite some risk, I think, at the time.
JM, I'm typically like 3 to 5, usually 3 to 4 on NQ. Yes, I usually build into about 5.
That's average. It really depends on the range. Today, I don't think I've reached 8, whereas like the last 3 weeks, I'm averaging 8. Today was anywhere from 4 to 7. Just depends on what kind of risk the market's going to allow for me. No, I haven't been on consistent. I haven't been on any prop for a while.
I know that's how I cut my teeth, but I've really been enjoying opening up the personal account a little more
Yeah, it
size.
helps with being patient too, right?
It
There's no
does.
benchmarks. There are no benchmarks you need to hit for whatever reason. Honestly, guys, my trading has largely just been whatever you see on stream. I haven't really been trading much off stream because I've been putting more time into streaming, and I don't like to trade so much and be on the chart so much. So going forward, most of my trading is probably going to be while I'm streaming.
Kane, I think for me, it's been like not feeling like I need to just remove money and can actually like build a balance a little bit. That's been the biggest change. Because historically, even in my personal, like I've just withdrawed over a certain amount and kind of lived my life off of it. So it's been good just to sit back and let the account kind of grow.
Kane's just doing side quests at this point.
He is.
That's a whole different thing. He's just doing some side quests. Yeah, Shreddy, glad you're here, man. Glad you're getting some value. Oh, look, see, Alfonso, he's not a bot. Look at that.
There he
He
is.
corrected himself right after. I think he's just using ChatGPT, man.
Can you build a bot with ChatGPT to just comment on YouTube channels?
I don't know.
Although I meant to send you a video or a reel I saw on Instagram yesterday. That was somebody building a level of automation that would make our friend that stacks up his hours into days into weeks would make him jealous. It was a level of automation I need to find the video again because I was like dying laughing late last night. I meant to send it to you.
Pat, no, I actually don't pay attention to like individual equities. I just kind of just look at whatever's going on in NQ and go based off of that order flow.
I mean,
There's
all
been
of the Mag
so
7
much
is red
buying.
today.
Buying is finally letting off for a little bit.
Yeah, yes, just had to pierce inside the previous day low.
It's a lot trickier now, location wise than earlier.
Mhm.
We're at a lot of MGI. Earlier, it was more clear skies, upside and downside. It's just an empty runway. There's not much MGI in the way. Now we are back in the thick of things.
And everybody, please do continue to hit the thumbs up button. If you weren't paying attention last Wednesday, XY and I broke the record, in fact, with 1,200 people liking this stream.
Was that a week ago?
That was last Wednesday.
Shattered the records.
Destroyed it.
Do it, Kane. Help us out, Kane. What's my indicator on the bottom? It's called the tape reader. It's a free OFL tool you can get just for signing up for the freemium. It's called tape reader. It's really good.
Yeah, you get that as well as the weekly MGI that will make your market prep significantly easier every day.
They're absorbing a lot of sell here in the 12s, 16s. Yeah, if they hold this where it used to be offer, if they're holding it as passive bid now,
Stowe may get his 420s.
Stowe's, yeah. Stowe's going to be
Somebody's
the one
getting
taking
cooked.
this out.
It's either me or them.
There's so many sound bites.
I know it's
You could
it's
probably run an
unbelievable how
entire
many-
stream just off of his sound bites.
They could just put a static image of Stowe on with us and just
Or
play
a little
lights
loop.
randomly.
Just a loop. I
Yeah,
lost
we'll take a
20K in
picture.
5 minutes. Ooh,
What's in 5 minutes?
someone in the chat.
Oh,
I hope
gee.
they're lying. Well, I hope they're lying for no reason. Sincerely. Oh, check this out. Check what I'm rocking. I got this holiday cup.
As they say, sir, it's the end of August. You're already jumping holidays. My wife had jumped into Halloween and fall
Look,
already
look.
like 3 weeks ago. She's fully ready. And meanwhile, it's 100
look,
degrees
Nick, when you live like me, I'm way ahead of the game. I've got 5. I'm already on my 5th day. I'm in September.
out. This is true.
Next thing I'm in October, November, December.
Okay, so Sav, you and my wife would get along very well. Apparently, August is now fall, and fall means Halloween, so it's science. I was at Target yesterday, and the Halloween fall stuff is out.
Yeah, holly jolly, baby. Yeah, my wife just made me some tea to drink while I'm on stream, and it just happened to be this cup, so I'm rolling with it. You know, sometimes just gotta roll with the market, whatever you get, you know. What up, Yassine? What up, Darty?
Hey, Dio, it's
Dio.
not fall in Spain yet.
Dio,
Isn't it
we were
just
getting
like perma spring in Spain? And you guys think like a warm day is Like, what would be a brisk fall day here in North Texas is like the hottest day of the year for you?
Cooper says, drink what's in front of you. Exactly.
I don't have any water. I just realized that. I'm really bad about once I get into my trading desk fort here. Like, if I need to leave, like, it's a problem.
Well, all right. Look, I'm open to trying shorts if they can break back, if they can fail this whole thing.
Yeah,
Trade
I'd
under
want
the
to see
300s.
ES kind of back inside like 18, 19. Maybe
Stowe's
even
got a
50.
question. First time caller, long time listener. What's up, Stowe? Ponto Pan or Ponto Jogger? I'm a joggers guy. I got a lot of athleisure, man. I'm a jog. I don't know. I'm like a very opposite ends of the spectrum in when it comes to dress, right? I'm either like full athleisure or I'm fully dressed for whatever occasion, right? There is no in between with me. So I gotta say it's the joggers, right?
I think I mean, I'd literally live in athleisure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
either in like athleisure or it's like a suit.
Yeah, literally. That's me. I can't decide which I like better. Plasma copy. Well, I think it's situational too, still, because from what I can gather, the Viore pants might be your highest form of dress. So you might have to opt for the pants. Um, yeah, like normal pants, right? Like it could be like golf pants or chinos. Is that what you're talking about? The pant. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I'm a joggers guy. I see what you mean. I'm a joggers guy. Yeah, I mean you're coasting through the website. I'm at the sales rack. I'm at the warehouse, you know. It's what's available. Look, we're not the same. We're not the same. So you're paying retail price. I'm refusing to pay retail price. We are not the same.
Yeah, I
Always
need
on
the
sale.
trader's discount.
It's always on sale. I mean, you guys saw the screenshot I sent you when I went to the sale. We're talking what? $40 joggers, was it? 30 or something like
Yeah,
that?
it
That's how you stay on top.
was low enough that I clearly need to get my yoga certification or something.
Always on sale. I gotta save some margin for the markets.
Matt, personally, I think Lulu's quality dropped significantly.
Dude, I think it did. I think when they came out, so I went from Lulu to Aloe to Viore. Aloe is really expensive also. That shit is crazy. But I like Viore the best, and they have more sales. Aloe, man, it's expensive and it's like it's hardly on sale, man. Can't be me. Would I buy NQ here? No. If I would, I probably would have bought it, but no. This is pretty much for me, it's the decision point. Either they're going to hold this pullback, breakout retest and just grind up for the rest of the day, or they will fail this and they will pay a hefty price. But because it's only 10 minutes till algo time, there's not enough time in the session to really see anything through. But if we had more time, yeah, I would be looking for a failed break here back into this range and to take it down. Or if they test this again and fail and we're back towards overnight low, we're probably going to start making our way upwards to the 400s. But time's running out. It's really not too much of an opportunity. But if they do the breakdown fast enough, I might take a stab. We'll see. It would not be shocking to see them do something crazy like make a new high. Depends how much they want to mash the gas against the shorts that are very much offsides right now. Look at all the volume that's been put in today. We've got 2 whole nodes. So one, this was bad enough, right? And they even retested this at some point. Retested this node and said absolutely not, right? That was here. The 160s and the 150s. Held that's already bad news. Built this entire thing, and now if they're gonna lock these sellers out and continue higher, they could just punch them right in the face, honestly. So yeah, this thing can definitely certainly rip. Chat has been flying. You don't think they'll go up? I wouldn't be surprised if they go up. Absolutely not. I wouldn't be surprised if they failed this breakout and went back down either. I don't really look at the market in absolutes. If I am, I'm probably joking. Don't take it seriously. Ruski says he says, "No, Nick, go short for a like. I promise it'll work out."
I wouldn't short this right now into algo time if we basically retrace this entire day with literally anyone's money. I just have no desire to short this.
Yeah, seeing how much I'm up on the day. I think we're close to, I think it's a little over 15 right now. A little over 15. Yeah. I had a blessed day, man, so can't complain. And I'm very iffy about giving anything back because it'll bother me, and it's not a nice round number. That stuff gets to me. I can literally unwind off of that alone.
Volume
Gotta keep
profile,
that window
no.
close.
I'm not going to sell this. I'm not going to buy this. I turned a very bad day into a decent, modest, good day. So I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, market blessed me today for sure. It's not always like this.
No, not 15K.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know about that. I can't say any day's really easy. I wouldn't say any day's easy. It's just some days the market works in your favor and some days it doesn't, but nothing is guaranteed, man.
John
Flip or
Cena,
tilt on the sim.
John Cena, what is your question? Oh, I see it.
There's a guy that says hello in the chat, but I can't see him.
Haha. Got him.
Thanks, chat. Yeah, you saw me fire off a few today from morning to now, chat. So please hit the like on my behalf.
And we set out a goal today, guys, to make sure we had at least 300 likes before Mr. Jared Tendler steps into the booth. And we are roughly 9 away. So let's make sure we hit that number before he comes in here.
Before he comes in and yells at us. Yeah, yes. Sometimes, yes. Today I felt like I had good reads and it worked. Some other days I feel like I had good reads and I'm red. Some days I have good reads and I'm like break even, like just staying afloat. And eventually I'm like, whatever. The market's gonna make that choice, whether it likes me or not. And today, yeah, it's an outlier, guys. It's not like I'm just crushing it every day. So it is what it is.
John Cena, yeah, I would say once we kind of got, I mean, at least 200, you could probably even gauge in, say, the 120s, kind of back inside initial balance that you probably should have been looking for some aspect of rotations back long. Once we could not find sellers interested anywhere below that, it's probably where you not necessarily want to switch your bias, but be looking for those opportunities, at least to the long side.
Yeah, John Cena, I think how you saw is pretty much how I saw it too. I had a short from up here and I covered around here because, yeah, this was a spot that if the market were to continue, they would hold it because it's the distribution that they just left behind, right? And if they're going to buy it and leave this behind, uh, things can change quick. And it did, right? They started building back into the main one. Um, the initial long, so, when it was in the morning, you guys were with Kane. It's because of this, right? It would, I would say it'd be foolish to get new shorts this low in the market at this current piece of structure. It's either you let it continue to wash without you or look for a long because I mean it's like a 300 something point IB. And look, these can certainly get bid out of, especially the first time coming back in a while, where they've shown taper, taper, taper many times with stuck volume down here, which is kind of coinciding with this line where the market stopped, right? So if you know it's taper, 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 market comes back, puts in another taper. They're confirming that information, and that's where the turn was right here. And if they're gonna check out this move, the offer like left the market. So, we were watching order flow in the morning here, and the offer that pressed down all of this offer here, they were gone. The buyers did not need to fill as many lots at the offer than they did at this present, moment. They were just going now. They're going and going and going. So things have changed, right? Coming back, likelihood that they'll hold it, they do. And so I think, John Cena, your read was pretty good. It's kind of in line with how I saw it too. If we don't trade back to 420, I'll learn.
I'm going to hold you to that
Chat,
stuff.
yeah. Chat, screenshot that. If he
Everybody,
doesn't,
if
blow
he
up his
doesn't,
Twitter.
mention him on Twitter, everything else.
Blow up his Twitter. Oh, you guys couldn't see my chart? My bad. Here, I'll move it. It's right here. This was the tapered area I was telling you guys about. This is the stock volume, this line and the zone. This is where the low of day was. And if you look at prior order flow, it's the same as what it is today here. It's not much. It's a taper. And now they're just gonna go find some sellers because the sellers that pushed down got filled and left the market.
Stowe needs the chat to pick the concept for him.
Stowe's getting himself. I hope we don't trade 420. 419 to make it hurt. Well, Kane says it himself too. He trades like price action, right? He doesn't say it's ICT by any means. Trades his own thing. So
Let's see, what time is it? We got 1 minute to the MOC algo. And we did, in fact, hit our goal of over 300 likes. So
nice.
don't go anywhere. When we get out of here in about 10 minutes, Jared Tendler will be here to do a wonderful retail therapy session with a couple of traders, I believe. So please don't go anywhere. Tune in, hang out. We're going live for an extra hour.
Darty says, look at the OFL chat. I'm looking at it now. I see it. Yeah. Hold him to it, guys. Don't let Stowe wiggle out of this one. There's some breaker blocks.
Mark, I did in fact do a number of presentations, sales presentations, consulting presentations in my old life.
Attention traders, it's algo time.
All right, chat. We're all rooting for the same thing now. No further than
420s.
419 and a half. Not even 3/4.
Stowe will be trading. I don't even know the acronyms.
If we all band together and slam the offer, if it gets close enough, I think we can hold it.
I will market order. Sell a lot of lots.
I'll do my
For
part.
the meme. I don't think we're going to get it. Leo's opening range mid is unfortunately in the way at 25s for ES. So
Let me throw it in here for good measure. Stowe's writing big checks there. Hey, Tracy.
MOC was 2.2 billion to the buy side.
Okay, Stowe, but let's just say you lose the bet, which hopefully you will, and then you have to trade one of them, one of the concepts. Does that mean you also have to delete your VWAP bands and all that stuff? Because you can't, look, they are not conducive to the concepts or the strategy. So you might need a new book. Please clarify for the chat, for the people. That's fair. All right, 8 minutes.
Oh, there's so many jokes I was going to make. I'm not going to do it. Can't do it. Yeah, I don't think Stowe can use dark mode either.
That's true, yeah. Gotta brighten up those charts. And all the candlesticks have to be like a monochrome color, right? Either white or gray, white or black, something like that. Gray or black. Oh yeah. Stowe somehow turned his hugely winning trade into a loser.
And the NinjaTrader team just put an awesome link in the chat where if you want to be part of the next live coaching session with Jared Tendler, you can apply by filling out the form and questionnaire that has just been pasted into the chat. So if you have any interest in doing a session like you're about to see right after this, click that SurveyMonkey link and fill it out. You know, XY, this was very promising until about 20 minutes ago.
What was?
Just the
Oh,
end of day move, something that was
I know.
tradable, and now they just barcoded
I know.
here at the highs.
If honestly, if there was another hour in the market, I think a really good opportunity can come out of this consolidation
Yeah.
because I
We're
think
either
both
going to 420
outcomes,
or going back
yeah,
to
both
250.
outcomes, they've got a nice runway either way, but the market's gonna close. Yeah, if there was another hour, could definitely do something with it. I want to uncompress, decompress these profiles, but I'm afraid it'll explode on me, Nick.
Yeah, I always have that worry with my long time trade charts because they work. Everything looks good. I'm like, I don't want to play with them.
This would be, I'd be looking for a bid down here for sure.
Is that 820s?
840s, 850s down to. But yeah, the taper is around the 820s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's that spot we were all buying with both hands or trying to.
Yeah.
Liquidation.
Oh yeah. Check this out. It was
It was an entire
yeah.
month's worth of structure deleted in a session and a half.
They could not get anything done down here. Came
No.
back, still nothing, and then pay the price. That was nice.
Oh, double or nothing, algo. Stowe needs 60 more points.
Those, yeah.
I mean, everybody that went short today.
Everybody stack up your offers in the 410s.
I think
We
anybody
gotta
that
hold the
initiated a
line.
short today is already like has left the building.
Short life hacks. I hope nobody does at this point.
I do not.
Pump those likes. The more likes we get, the less likely we will trade 420. Please pump the likes. Yeah, I'm gonna stick around for Jared's segment here. I mean, the fact that we're all gonna be able to see it like put into practice for free, that's huge value. I'm gonna
Mhm.
stick around. You guys should stick around too. Yeah, short life. They won't, I think some ranges won't even let you bring them in anymore. That's how it is around here, at least. I wouldn't want to be around one. All right, we've got 3 minutes. I think we're good.
Hey
Big
guys.
win.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
So before we dive into your trades this afternoon, your performance this afternoon in general, as a matter of fact, I want to make sure everybody sticks around because at 4 o'clock sharp, we have a really special session, retail therapy with Jared Tendler, and he's going to be with us for an hour. He'll be doing two live coaching sessions, taking questions directly from the chat. And as X, Y, and Nick already pointed out, you have an opportunity. There's a link in the chat right now, a chance to be part of the next live coaching session given by Jared. So hang tight, everybody, because we're not done at 4 o'clock this time. We're going to keep rolling here. Gentlemen, good job this afternoon.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get into the London initial balance by the close today, but we did.
Yeah, we got super close to London Open.
Yeah, I mean, we poked our head into it. We're just south of it right now, but on even the S&P anyway.
On the NQ, it's really close.
Yeah. I was kind of excited for Stowe too, because maybe he'll send me some more pierogies if this thing
Dude, yeah, that day where he got all your stuff and he posted the picture, I was like, that is all filled up the whole table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ashwin, do I call out trades? I do not call out trades, but you can see them live in real time, so it's kind of the same, I guess. See me win, see me lose, see me laugh, see me cry. All here.
I don't know that I've ever seen you cry. And Nick is very stoic, by the way.
We do it off camera.
I mean, allegedly he does. He also said he was going to see you were going to see a grown man cry on camera, and we get to see that.
Yeah.
Got to stay tuned. Maybe
Stay
one of
tuned.
these days, guys.
Keeps the people coming back.
Stick around.
All right, we have about 30 seconds left. We're gonna do this transition right in time. This today, XYZ. Are you done trading for the week? Did you say?
I was, and then Savannah put a gun on my head and said, "You're coming back on Friday morning." I said, "Okay, what can I do?" So I'll see you guys Friday morning for some more.
All right. Well, I'll be there. So we'll be brothers in arms, my friend. How about you,
I'll be
Nick?
back.
Are you going to be rolling tomorrow, you think, looking for trades?
Yeah, I'm going to be trading the open with Chris tomorrow morning. So not quite done for me.
All right, all right. Well, thanks you guys for being here. Everybody in the chat, thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate these guys. These guys are working hard, laying it on the line, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks,
See you guys.
everybody.
Jared Tendler in the house. Pleasure to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jim. How are you?
Fantastic. You know, I noticed you might be from Philly. My brother lives somewhere in the suburbs in Philly. I don't know where, but he loves where he lives.
I do too. I grew up in Connecticut, but my wife was from this area, and this is kind of my kind of a suburb. So lots of stuff. We're close to New York City, close to DC, obviously close to Philly. So it's a great place to live.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, a couple live trading sessions right now between the next hour or so. Chat, feel free to type in some questions. Jared's here. And we appreciate you spending this time with us this afternoon, Jared.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I'm excited about it. And, I want to thank, I know Stowe's here. I want to thank him again for being on the last one, kind of getting this whole thing started. And I know you've mentioned before about the survey, so I'm going to say it again. Right, those of you that want to come on here for the next episode, the link is in the chat. I know it's pinned to the top. Just for everybody else, it's surveymonkey.com/r/NinjaTrader. Very quick to fill out. And you're going to see a couple traders here coming up today who filled that out in the last session. And one of them is profitable, one of them is not, and the one who's not profitable is close and kind of feels like his psychology is the missing piece of the puzzle here. So excited to kind of dive in here.
All right, all right. Well, I'm going to leave everybody with the author of Master Your Mental Game, and I'm going to dip into the chat and I'll be taking notes. Jared, thank you again for being here.
Absolutely. All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to bring up Cam here in a second, but first I want to just provide a little bit of context for those that are kind of new to my work and the type of psychology that I provide, really. Number one, I think psychology is most impactful around the issues that you have, whether it be, getting into positions too early, sizing too large, over trading, not being able to hold your targets, moving your targets, like all of the kind of technical mistakes that you tend to make. They happen because your trading psychology has not been able to kind of unlock your ability to fix it permanently. It's not, again, these are repetitive mistakes certainly that you should not be making. They happen again and again and again. And despite your best efforts, maybe there's pockets of time where you're able to get past them, but then they just kind of come back with a vengeance and kind of suck you back under and prevent you from really being able to realize your potential. That is where trading psychology is most impactful. And the reason is because you're not really seeing the underlying emotions that are kind of compelling you. The FOMO, the greed, the fear, the overconfidence, the lack of confidence. There's something kind of operating in the background that is really driving and compelling you to make those trading mistakes. So unless you're dealing and correcting those emotions, you're not going to have that kind of transformational progress that you're really after here. So that's what we're going to kind of touch on today. And once again, these coaching sessions are completely unscripted. Okay, well, I'm learning as you learn, but it's an opportunity for you all to kind of peer behind the lens a little bit and understand how to begin to problem solve your own issues. You will have an opportunity to post your questions in the chat, and I will have opportunities kind of between sessions and then after the second one to answer your questions, answer your problems, give you some perspective. So I think with that, let's get after it and bring on Cameron, our first guest here.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey man, how are you? Good to see you.
Good, yeah, excited to be here.
Excellent. How you doing today?
All right, I wasn't really planning on trading much today, and then saw stuff happening in the morning and caught a quick little trade and called it a day. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, brilliant. Well, listen, I think to bring everybody up to speed on kind of where you're coming from, do you mind just spending a couple minutes to let people know about your kind of trading experience, a little bit of your history, and some of the specific issues or problems that you're facing that you want to dive into today?
Sure. So I've been trading just over 5 years. Started back in 2019, sort of before it became the thing to do post COVID. So I didn't love that, where I got into this thing and everybody else joined right after. Um, and then, kind of bounced around trading futures, trading options with success early, and then, figuring out issues after that. And then it's been kind of back and forth. I've had good trades, I've had bad trades, but never able to sort of break through, as I would say, like I can get up to a point and then I find a way to kind of bring it back. And so that's kind of my main issue now is depending on what I define as success, I find a way to keep that from happening. I don't know if that's common for everybody, but it's definitely
It
been
is,
something I've
yes.
been trying to figure out for years. It depends on how I'm feeling and what I think, I should be doing or my expectations. And because then it changes, right? Like if my expectations are really small, I'll limit myself really small. If my expectations are big, as soon as I approach sort of a bigger, milestone, then I'll find a way to back away from it. So that's my kind of main thing I'm hoping we can figure out, because I'm kind of ready to be done with that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first off, yes, it is incredibly common. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat here today who, are in a similar spot, right? It's like you kind of keep going through these ups and downs and not really kind of able to break out, almost like you're in like kind of this larger consolidation phase, right? Like where's the breakout really going to come? So hopefully today maybe be a bit of the catalyst for that. You mentioned some of the expectations that kind of impair some of the trades you might end up taking or not taking, or how you're sizing them, or uh, how would you describe maybe the most common trading mistakes that you're making?
I would say focusing on a P&L or a specific objective rather than the trade itself. If I know that I'm, one trade away from doing something, passing an account, taking a payout, something like that, that sort of then opens the floodgates for worse behavior where, I'll revenge trade losses. I'll take trades that I wouldn't be taking and that aren't part of the plan. And so I think it kind of stems from my knowledge of like, oh, this could be the one, or like, this trade, if it's successful, then I'm good, rather than focusing on high quality trades themselves and then managing them correctly.
Right. Okay. So P&L focus kind of becomes essentially a distraction, but it's more than just a distraction because there's maybe a bit more emotion kind of behind that that's really kind of compelling it to become a more dominant part of your intraday trading, right? And to be clear, I'm
sure.
never saying that P&L doesn't matter, right? Like the game is about making money long term, but on an intraday basis, if it really deters you and takes you away from like what you know is required to be successful, right? The types of trades you know are within your system, then it's at best a distraction, at worst a compulsion. Is that a fair way of framing what you're dealing with?
Yeah. And I would
Okay.
say it's a compulsion, not a distraction. It definitely
Yeah.
is the driving force behind some decisions.
Right. And that just sort of implies the uncontrolled nature of it.
Right.
You mentioned expectations earlier. So sometimes I kind of like look for puzzle pieces to fit together. Now,
Sure.
is there a connection there? Do you have some underlying expectations around P&L, around some of those bigger inflection points? Do you have expectations that at this point in your career, the breakthrough should have already happened? And the fact that it doesn't means that you're really, kind of failing in reference to those expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. So I worded it like expectations because it's not a specific thing. It's not like, oh, if I make, $1,000 today, I'll find a way to mess it up. It could be I have to make $50 to pass an account or to take a payout. So it's not P&L dependent. It's uh, you know, the situation I'm in determines my expectation. And so I can have a good month even where I feel like I've broken through consistent trading, it's all looking very nice. And then I guess after I have that realization, then I start expecting that again, and then I'll back away from it and I'll give back those gains. So it's really not just I want one thing and one thing only, and then I get, messed up by it. It really depends on my mindset and kind of where I'm looking.
Okay. So I'm going to throw out a scenario here, and I like to do this because it's either a thought experiment that will lead your mind in a different direction, or we've kind of nailed it and we're kind of off to the races here. I suspect that you have some maybe bigger hopes or dreams or wishes, right? Obviously, you want to be a full-time trader here, right? You're trying to really, so your mind, maybe not recently, but like historically is perhaps been attached to these kind of bigger aspirations. And like as you get close to it, as you see kind of kernels that indicate you're kind of there or getting
Mhm.
there, it gets exciting, right? And you feel like you don't want to like trip on at the finish line here, or maybe you feel extra pressure, and that extra pressure then kind of causes you to maybe trip a little bit. But do you think those kind of bigger aspirations, the bigger hopes or wishes are kind of looming large in the background? And maybe it's not necessarily something that's top of mind at all times, but it's there kind of ready to spring out, as you mentioned, in these sort of, I won't say random, but in these situations that kind of appear as an
Mhm.
expectation, but might be a bit bigger than just that.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case. I hadn't really thought about it from that angle for a while. When I first got into it, obviously I had large aspirations, hoping to become financially independent doing this and to not have to work any sort of corporate job again. And then over time, my expectations kind of came down and came down, and now it's like, okay, well, just making a reasonable living, doing something that's enjoyable and interesting would certainly be enough. I don't have to make $1 million this year to be happy. Um, but that's over years, the expectations have come down just partly due to data, and then just kind of what's reasonable. Like when you first start out, you don't know what's reasonable. Um, so I haven't really thought about those large aspirations for a while, but I do sort of think about that sort of debt in the background where, okay, I've been doing this for a while. I don't like the term, but I've paid my tuition, both emotionally and monetarily. And so, yeah, I would expect to, get back what I've put in from my experiences and, just overcoming obstacles and things. So, yeah, I guess I do kind of have like a bank account, that I've been holding on to that I'm hoping to overcome at some point.
Yeah, and I think that I appreciate the honesty there. It's again, sometimes it's the subtle stuff that really is the most impactful. And
Sure.
so as we kind of dig this kind of thing out, I want to just kind of begin to pivot into some kind of corrections here.
Okay.
Um, because first and foremost, like the term expectations, I'm not trying to be, kind of harsh on language. I don't care about the words you choose. I care about the intent. And for you to say you kind of have these very kind of big visions, dreams, et cetera, that were kind of expectations, and then you've kind of lowered the standard over time because you've realized kind of what's more reasonable. Um, in a way, you're kind of playing a game that is not really solvable, right? And the reason is because expectations are implied guarantees. Right? If I expect something of myself, like I'm basically saying I have the capacity right now to realize that, whether it's something I'm going to
Hmm.
realize in the future or something like today I'm going to realize whether it's, $50 in P&L. So
Sure.
the expectation is an implied guarantee. And again, it's subtle, right? It's not conscious. You're not saying, "Oh, I guarantee this is going to happen every day." But the way in which you get feedback for yourself is measured up against that standard. And when you have expectations, it is much easier, right? Much easier to be really critical of yourself. Much easier to feel like you're kind of undermining your efforts and not kind of living up to this vision and standard that you have, and then, do things in the markets that you shouldn't, right? Move
Hmm.
profit targets, re-enter positions you shouldn't, right? Just kind of meddling with
Sure.
your strategy because you're doing everything you can to kind of reach this standard that has a very, very harsh edge to it. So to me, I want you to have your aspirations be as big as you want them to be, right? You want to make
Hmm.
seven figures, make seven, have at it,
Right.
like dream big, but they cannot ever be expectations. They have to be goals, right? And they have to be goals because goals imply a lot of learning. Goals imply the ups and downs, the things that you don't know are going to challenge you, the problems that you got to solve for, and you know, there's obviously some criticism in that, but the criticism should be productive, right? It's like, oh man, I underperformed today. I feel bad. Like it's okay to have those bad days.
Hmm. Sure.
But the idea is to be practical and to be inquisitive and to figure out why did I fall short? And when you have goals and you implicitly understand that you do not yet have the capacity, you have to learn, you have to improve, you've got to develop, then you're more apt to examine why you fell short in a practical, pragmatic way. And if you can't find answers over a small sample of time, well, then you got to go looking elsewhere for those answers and begin problem solving a bit more diligently. 'Cause the answers are
Mhm.
out there, and you're far more willing to look for them when they're goals that you are intensely driven towards. And I think you're less likely to go after them. I'm not saying it's black and white, but like less likely
Right.
when they're implied expectations because you kind of believe you already got everything you need, which is why you kind of have those. You didn't use the words earlier, but like the self-sabotagey kinds of things
Oh, for
happening.
sure.
You're undermining your own efforts, and it's seemingly like you're going against yourself. It's like, well, why would you get stuck in that cycle? You get stuck in that cycle because you are measuring yourself against a harsh standard that has no room for learning and expects you to have all the answers now and doesn't
Mhm.
really appreciate the learning and growth that still needs to occur. So
Yeah,
I know
it's
I said a
interesting
lot
you
there,
say
but
that.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but it's really interesting because I do believe that I have the tools that I need and the experience that I need and the skills that I need. So that's interesting that you bring that up because I guess that's an expectation after 5 years of doing this.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you don't have
Having
a lot. I mean, you could
no,
be
for sure, but
90% of
it's
the way
it's
there.
yeah, it's a mindset thing, right? Where instead of a goal and working towards something, it's well, why don't I have it?
Yeah.
So no, I totally get that.
Yeah, and it's super common. I mean, I honestly I hear this all the time. Like traders kind of continually say like, "Oh, I'm only one step away."
Sure. I've
How do you
been one
know?
step away many
Yeah.
times.
How do you know? You're really
Right.
only going to know that you were one step away when it's in the rearview mirror and you've taken that step and
Yeah.
you've proven it. So again, like the foresight, like where's your opinion really coming from? It's not because you've surveyed thousands of traders and understood exactly kind of where you are in the process and like what the next step's going to look like. It's because like a lot of people, we just kind of have this faulty, view of ourselves because we're isolated, right? You're on your own here trying to figure this thing out, right? And it feels like you're close, like you're only a few steps away from solving these issues. But the way that you're getting in your own way is that you, as you said, believe that you've got everything you need right now, and
Hmm.
you have a lot. And maybe today will help you take the next step in like being a bit more open-minded about learning some of the psychological things that are kind of standing in your way, but these expectations are the thing that are standing in your way. They have to be eviscerated, right? And
Okay.
converted into goals and aspirations and be intensely motivated, right? The expectations kind of undermine your confidence. And the more your confidence gets undermined, the more you're going to be wishful and hopeful, right? If I realize enough P&L, well then I've done my job and I can, achieve my goals. But if your confidence is kind of injured by that harshness and those expectations in the road to get to profitability, well then we don't know that you're going to be able to sustain it long term, right? You want to have
Hmm.
the trajectory to really be able to break through and truly break out,
Right.
not just like kind of be the parabolic move that just bleeds soon thereafter. So the
Hmm.
confidence has to be solid, and the confidence is going to be solid when you're actually doing that pragmatic work, right? Really problem solving all these nuances, and yeah, just but still maintaining that high motivation. I want your motivation to be higher than it seems like it
Hmm.
was earlier today, right? Like have those big dreams, but be diligent in figuring out exactly what it's going to take to get there.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would say recently my motivation is quite good. I've been taking care of things outside of trading to kind of give myself the best opportunities to perform. Today, expectations were low because yesterday I did not do well and was just planning on taking a break. So I don't know. Today was sort of a non-standard day, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, I would say, if yesterday was poor, you don't need to lower your expectations today. You need to examine what went wrong yesterday and see if you can come up with pragmatic solutions for the specific trading mistakes that you made, right? And
Hmm.
come into today with an emphasis and motivation on correcting that, right? Make P&L, you know, like the second tier priority for the next 2 months, right? And really be diligent about picking off the top mistakes that you're making, um, and working on one at a time. I mean, it's hard when you've got like kind of a handful to every day be kind of playing this like whack-a-mole. It's like, look,
Sure.
generally speaking, focus on your entries, like be nailing your entries. And if you find yourself unable to sit on your hands and struggling with, some itchiness and impulsivity, or whatever else, like that again is not a discipline issue. It's an emotional one connected to your expectations. So
Hmm.
reorient it as a goal. My goal today is to nail my entries. If I don't, then I'm going to figure out why and begin to kind of problem solve that more clearly.
Sure. So would you have your expectations more process based
I
instead
would
of
have my expectations gone. So your goals
okay,
become more process based, right?
okay,
Your goals become more process based on a day to day, and yeah, and P&L is going to follow, right? P&L is the
sure.
is the cart. The horse is your process, your execution intraday, but also in terms of the examination of why it is that you're falling short in these, kind of key moments within the day.
Interesting.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. It'll be
Cool.
tough to get rid of all expectations. That's going to be a little bit of
So
a
you're
challenge
gonna
and
have to
something to
kind of
work on.
you're gonna have to keep an eye out for when you kind of feel that and sense that, and
Yeah,
especially like the self-criticism will be a key marker for it, right? Anytime you're getting
sure.
harsh or critical, you're like, it's so dumb. Like, how could I be so stupid? Why did I do that? Like, pause, stop yourself. Just be like, all right, looks. Why did I actually do that? Like, be curious, right? Don't be
Mm-hmm.
harsh and negative. Actually, be more of a detective, right?
Okay.
Inquisitive. Like, all right, why did that actually happen? Well, all right, something from like a maybe a price action standpoint. Okay, fine, but then emotionally, like, what's going on here? Right? Oh, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm feeling a little bit itchy because yesterday didn't go as great, or I'm feeling a little bit, kind of tense and protective because I'm actually doing quite well, or I've got a month that I've been doing really well, and maybe I'm a little bit overconfident. Maybe I'm so again, that curiosity is going to help to do that due diligence.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, chat. You have any questions for our friend Cameron here? Certainly appreciate him kind of putting yourself out here. I certainly
Yeah.
appreciate spending the
Yeah.
time
Glad to
here.
be here.
Let's see if we got any questions here. I see self-sabotage is crazy. Yes, it is. But I would say
It
that
really is.
self-sabotage is kind of a misnomer. I would say it's a misnomer because it implies that you have some control here, right? Here you believe you're sort of self-sabotaging your efforts, but the reality is that you don't have control, right? You don't have control of the emotions that are actually pulling you down. So it feels like you're sabotaging your efforts, but you're not
Hmm.
actually sabotaging yourself. You're just getting sucked down by the stuff that you don't quite understand. All right, I see a question here. And if anybody has a question for Cameron, throw that in here too. See, Trader Alejandro, how can I reliably distinguish between valid intuition and an emotional response disguised like fear, euphoria, or FOMO during trading? Great question. I would take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, real intuition on one side, fake intuition on the other, right? And then start to qualitatively describe the differences, right? So fear and FOMO and revenge trading, right? And I think Cameron, this is probably true for you too, right? There's probably times where you really feel like you're in sync with the market, right? And then there's times where, the desire to move that profit target is more greed based. So examine your thoughts, right? Examine your perception of that position that differs when it's real intuition versus when it's emotion. There will be very distinct qualitative differences. It takes a little bit of time to kind of research and examine your own patterning, but it is functionally no different than examining the patterning that exists within, the markets and the indicators that you're using. So take a little bit of time to kind of do that examination. You'll find things like for example, a client of mine described intuition as this very kind of calm state where there actually is not a lot of noise in your mind. You feel like you just sort of realized something, like the market kind of came to you and gave you this idea, or this idea just kind of came to mind as you were, kind of in sync and flowing with the market. Versus the FOMO is like a repetitive thought, right? One that you've had many, many times before of, oh man, there's so much here. I know it's gonna, make an extra. There's an extra 30% here I could take. Like there's a specific thoughts that are repetitive. Intuition is brand new. FOMO and emotion is repetitive and old and adios. All right.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that is an issue for you? Okay. Like the it kind of
Yeah, I
gets.
can definitely get into a sort of a thought pattern that's not helpful, either FOMO or, self-sabotage related, self-criticism. So that's sort of a marker for me, is if I'm thinking that way, then I know things are kind of going awry. But yeah, so that's interesting to just put that in the category of, hey, that's not real, that's not intuition. It's just something coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and actually, you made me realize. I think one tactic you can have, which is kind of a simple, reminder, is write down all the BS, right? Write down all the things that you say, or all the reasons that convince you to, meddle with your strategy. Put them down on a piece of paper and look at them. Read them before the start of the trading day. Keep it open during the trading day, and look out for them. Right? They're going to be distinct. Now, you might still succumb to them in the moment, because anytime emotion is a bit too hot, it can kind of force your hand and you still might succumb to it, right? So it's challenging, but at least if you're more aware of it, you're going to give yourself the opportunity to begin to catch it earlier and more often. All right. Good stuff, Cam. Cameron, appreciate you coming on today. I know chat certainly appreciates you being here.
Thanks for having
wish
me.
you well.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, let's get Sherry up here, our second trader, who is newly profitable and looking for similar help, just in a different sort of stage of the game here. So Sherry, welcome. Happy to have you here today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So if you could just kind of quickly share a bit about your trading experience and specifically kind of what you're looking to work on today.
So I've been trading for 4 years. Started off with AMC is what got me falling in love with the market. Then I went to options and had some luck there, but then I was just like, this is terrible. Why am I doing this to myself? Fell in love with futures, and I mean, it was just a complete and total roller coaster ride. Like, I mean, when you see like the meme things about traders' journeys, I'm like, yes, that is absolutely me. And stuff with Cameron resonated with me, what you were saying to him about the P&L, because that's actually how I got to a point of being profitable, was that I quit looking at my P&L. And well, I got off the 1 minute chart, that helped immensely. But when I started focusing more on just taking good trades, and then like after a month, I looked back and I was like, wow, like these amounts have added up. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm doing this. But I feel like I still get held back by, I let past trades from when I had no clue what I was doing affect me. And I can give you a really prime example if you want me to give you an example of
Sure.
talking about. Okay, so I use gamma levels. And especially recently, I mean, right close to the market open time, it used to be, I mean, if I would see a green candle, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I got to jump in. And it would immediately come against me. And then I started looking at gamma levels, and there will be, call resistant 0-day gamma wall, 0-day right above where the market is. And I have seen it play out so many times that the market will reject right off of it. It may go above it just a little bit, just like wicking people out, but there's something about when I didn't know what I was doing, I would take short trades and I would always be shorting way in the hole and would get so completely, like it would just immediately come back against me. And trading around the open, I had no idea what I was doing. And so now, even though I've seen how many times like it plays out, that like I've looked back and been like, why did I not just take that trade? Because once again, we completely rejected off of it. It's still that old, it's the thoughts from when I had no clue what I was doing, even though I've seen this stuff repeatedly play out, that I feel like there's good trades I miss out on, that I'm like, my P&L could be even better if I didn't miss out on these trades that I'm afraid to take because it's something that's around market open. we've been pushing really hard up into this level. Like, there's no way it's going to reject. It's going to just keep going. So I think that's one of my biggest struggles.
So would you call this a bit of scar tissue or kind of the trading trauma, so to speak?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would.
So you're not surprised, right? Common. I mean, the situations like this, there's many in trading, whether it's blown accounts or prop accounts or real live accounts or missing out on potentially like life-changing money. I've kind of run the gamut of the scarring experiences that happen in this game. And so for those that are listening, and for you as well, Sherry, we distinguish the word trauma can sometimes be scary to people, right? Emotional baggage, scar tissue, pick your term for it. I like the term scar tissue because I think it actually helps to, kind of give a physical representation of what kind of happens emotionally, right? You have an injury to your shoulder, scar tissue starts to form to protect the injury. Right?
Yeah.
Now what it does is it limits mobility, right? In your case, right now it's limiting your trading,
Yeah.
but it's still protecting you. So we're kind of semi okay with it,
Yeah.
right? But it's obviously not functionally optimal.
Exactly.
And the way we can distinguish this in trading, there's a difference. The memory system is not designed to uh, remember emotional content long term. So when you think back to a memory, if you remember, oh, I was so pissed off then, I was so fearful or anxious, that's how the memory system is supposed to be, right? You have a memory of what it felt like,
Yeah.
but you don't feel it now. Now, trauma, whether it's small amounts of it or large, right, can kind of run the gamut of degrees of intensity or severity, happen when you think back to, right, those trades that you took earlier in your career, or for other traders watching, some of the blown accounts or some of the big losses.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you think about those memories, but you still feel today as
Yes.
anxious, angry, fear, lose confidence, whatever, as you did back then. That is the marker for trauma or scar tissue. And so I see
Yeah.
you shaking your head, so it sounds like that's kind of what you're
Yeah.
dealing with here.
It does, because I mean, I will see it, and it's like I see visions of it just immediately coming back up against me and just running right through it. And yeah, it could, but I mean, I've also seen how many times like it turns out to be a really good trade that I just missed because I was like, oh, it's at the open, it's run against me so many times. But that was before I was using the stata. And it is. I mean, I feel it at the moment. I feel it.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a very basic process. Now, this is just dipping the toes. This is not like therapy, right? This is,
Maybe we need full on therapy.
yeah, no. But sometimes like most of you here are fully functioning, right? That this is not like these incapacitating issues, right? You're a profitable trader, so you're not being overwhelmed by this. So what I'm going to describe is kind of the performance-based version that, because sometimes those memories remain scarring because they're kind of like a bottle of wine, right? You just kind of have to uncork the memory, right? Because you bottle it up, you put it away, and you try to move on, right? And the ethos in the world is, well, just move on, just forget about it. It's in the past, it's in the past, it's over.
Yeah.
And so we do such a good job mentally just trying to block that stuff out. But then, we block enough of those things out, and it's kind of like a closet that just becomes unwieldy and, just kind of overwhelms us at times. So let's uncork the memory here a little bit.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do is just take a deep breath to relax
Okay.
and try to imagine one of the trades you're describing. Now, I'm sure, given that you were describing it a bit earlier, there's kind of already one that's kind of jumping to mind. And I want you to focus not just on the memory, but specifically the most painful part of it. And so as you're just kind of focusing on it, kind of continuing to breathe in and out, see what comes to mind. And once you have something, let me know.
There's so much that comes to mind.
Okay.
It was blown accounts, those, or, I would add into it, thinking, oh, it's going to come back down, just the whole thing too of, am I ever going to get this? Like, is this ever going to work out?
There it is.
And that was always the thing that was the big one that I was like, I mean, all these people that are like, oh, I made a killing today and everything. I'm like, I don't understand.
So I now want you to kind of use your mind as a magnifying glass.
Okay.
Now look, if you go get a massage to work on scar tissue, and if you have, I certainly have, I had some problems in my shoulder.
Amazing.
It is not fun.
But
it is painful, but it's productively painful. So I'm going to purposely kind of make you a little bit squirmy here.
Okay.
Productively, right? Again, everybody watching can do the exact same thing. Our minds have the ability to kind of magnify our experience. So I want you to take another deep breath and kind of magnify that feeling of, will I ever get this? Okay, kind of going back into the past. Will I ever get this? And again, try to magnify the experience to tease out what specific piece of that is the most painful or was the most painful then.
I think it was just the repeated failures. It was like so many times that it happened, like over and over.
And what was the conclusion you drew from that about yourself or about yourself as a trader?
I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this. But it also led me to like you.
I want you to pause. I want you to pause for a second. I know what it turned into. There's a happy ending here, which is great, right? There's a story that works in your favor. But at that point in time, so like that idea that I'm a terrible trader got kind of locked up.
Yes.
And I think that is now what's happening. So when you see that kind of pattern at the open, immediately you think, not consciously, in the background, I'm a terrible trader. So anybody that's a terrible trader cannot make money on this trade. So you're not engaged, you're not getting in there at all.
That's 100% correct. That is 100% correct.
So that thought was flawed then. Okay, flawed then, not because look, you can have a very practical, like, wow, I am awful. Right? You can be honest about yourself. Like, I mean,
the past couple of days, I felt awful. I had a good day today, so
yeah, look, we can be honest. Like, there's times where we all just frankly suck. That's not the issue, right? So, but the issue is that there's something kind of that made that belief, right, that I'm a terrible trader, like really, really potent. And I would argue that you have a little bit of what I call the terrible psychic.
Okay.
What I mean by that is at that moment, you believe that you were a terrible trader and that you will never get this. It wasn't, oh, will I ever get this as a practical question. It was, I'm terrible. I will never get this. I am, screwed forever.
Yes.
Okay.
And being stubborn is the only thing that got me past, honestly.
which is fantastic. I mean, you didn't believe it, right? But like,
yeah,
we oftentimes have these like kind of conflicting ideas in the back of our mind that make things challenging.
Yeah.
So this is a confusing thing for a lot of people, especially who are kind of struggling. Like when you feel like there's just darkness, right? You can't kind of see a path forward. You're in a drawdown and you just think your account's just going to go, to zero and you're going to be broke and destitute and never make it. Like all the negative things that you kind of think.
Yes.
You're actually overconfident.
Okay.
You're overconfident because you believe that you know what's going to happen. You believe that you're a terrible trader who will never make it. That's an overconfident statement. It's an overconfident conclusion to make.
I never thought about that, but that's exactly right. I'm overly confident that I'm terrible instead of overly confident of I know everything.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so that kind of predictive certainty kept that memory, kept that emotion locked inside you.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is we're not just correcting the idea, we're correcting the flaw that made the scar tissue so intractable.
Yeah.
So moving forward, right now, you start the trading day. You're reminding yourself, right? I don't know everything. Now, I know it might feel obvious to you, but it needs to be repeated because it's still in the back of your mind that there's the potential for you to have that, kind of predictive certainty. Okay.
Yes.
And then we got to have some kind of a pivot here in terms of how you see yourself as a trader and how you can see yourself back then. So if you were talking to yourself from the 2, 3, 4 years ago when that idea got implanted, what phrase or logic could you say very simply to yourself back then that you can also use now?
Like what would have helped me back then compared to now?
Yeah.
You're still learning, like, maybe cut yourself some slack. You're coming from a place of, I remember I didn't even know what trading view was. So yeah, I could have cut myself some slack and said, you're learning.
So my guess is you probably have tried the cut yourself some slack piece before. And the reason I don't think it worked is because it needed to be stronger around look, you're still learning and you don't know. It's okay not to know. Sometimes when we're in the depths of darkness, frankly, when you're in the peaks of euphoria, the mind looks for some stability, right? And it looks for stability with ideas. Right? You want to be certain, even if you're wrong. So
True.
you didn't know, and it's okay not to know. You can have confidence and conviction in yourself, right? In your process, in the fact that you're learning. So I'm still learning, and I don't know. Right now, you don't know what the next steps look like in your career.
True.
You know that you're motivated. You know you have certainly a strategy that's working. You got a process to prepare yourself to learn and to grow. Stay agile and active and driven towards that. You don't need to know whether or not you're going to make money tomorrow, today, or in this trade. Just kind of keep chipping away at some of that negativity from the past with those phrases. And maybe in the next 2, 3 weeks, right? The market open might feel different and different enough where you can start actually taking some of those trades.
Yeah, true. Because I've missed some really good ones here lately, but you've hit the nail on the head with, I was overly confident that I was a terrible trader.
How does that feel to say?
It feels really good, actually, because I have been thinking like there's a root problem here. There's a root problem and it was okay because I was learning at the time and I expected too much of myself at the time and wasn't okay with that. I was learning. I felt like I should be able to just do it.
Yep. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jerry, I can see a lot of people in the chat here sharing similar experiences here. So you're clearly not you're clearly not alone here. Does anybody have any questions for Sherry? Any questions about this topic that we both may be able to help you with? I see JD saying self-forgiveness around the trauma. Look, self-forgiveness is kind of part of this, but it's not the whole thing. Like you really kind of have to get in there and uncork the memory. So for those of you that don't have the opportunity to do this with me right now, you can kind of do it with yourself. Like, look, you just open up a Word doc, do that kind of an initial examination as I was describing earlier, where you try to think back to that memory and zero in on the pain. That the pain is going to tell you why you are still holding on to this. There is something for you to learn, right? And I think that's the key piece here, right? These memories are not hanging around to torture you, right? They're hanging around because there's still something to learn. And in Sherry's case, it was pretty clearly she was overconfident, which is not something that you usually see, or not usually would think would be part of this.
Exactly.
So Accidentals is asking, why would you be overconfident by saying I'm a terrible trader? So it wasn't the statement that was what made it overconfident. It was that what was implied in that statement was I'm a terrible trader and I'll never be able to be a good one. It was kind of this is how it's always going to be. So you're kind of jumping to this future reality that you don't know. And as you said, it's turned out not to be true. So you were clearly wrong, which means that you were clearly overconfident in believing too much about your conviction.
Yes.
Overconfidence does not mean like that you're feeling overconfident. Overconfident means believing a lie. And when you
Yes.
believe a lie like this, that's what happens. So,
Yes. And I truly believed it. So,
and you truly believed it.
yeah, yes, exactly.
Exactly. Yep. All right. Awesome. Um, let's see anybody else here. I see a couple of questions for me, which we'll kind of get to after we let Sherry go here. Anybody else have questions for Sherry right now? I see another one saying, I've got the same problems. Keep skipping clean setups, even though they're in my plan. And then I just keep telling myself the same thing every day, end up only taking like 10% of them. Yeah, so look, I mean, you're similar situation to Sherry. Like you
Mhm.
see it, but you're not taking it. So you've got to kind of take that step back and really examine the reason why that's happening, right? It's not because you're dumb. It's not because you're crazy. It's because there's some emotion here that's blocking you and preventing you from really being able to tap into your strategy. And I mean, sure, maybe you could kind of describe a little bit of that in terms of the initial kind of tension and the fight that you felt like you were having that hopefully now is
Yeah.
you're prepared to battle.
Well, really, I quit looking at a bunch of different markets. I mean, I was very scattered as a trader. I was trying to look at everything under the sun. And I know everybody hates the YM, but I started looking at it because it doesn't have a lot of option stuff tied to it. And so I felt like, this may be the one that's easiest for me to just really just watch it move and to watch things play out and figure out, like on a larger time frame, things to look for. And then I, kind of move that over into ES, NQ. But with YM, because it's such small dollar amounts, I mean, 50 cents on the micro contract, like I was able to reduce the pain of if it does completely go against me, I've reduced the pain. It's not.
Right, so you were kind of finding ways to navigate around it. So your approach to it early on was not like dealing too much with the tension. It was just find pockets where you could just kind of completely avoid it. So there's definitely not, and that's certainly the case for a lot of people. Look, if you've got injury to your shoulder, like you're going to defend against it, kind of feeling that pain. So
Yeah.
for sure, don't feel like you've got to kind of jump too far to the other side here, but just progressively start to kind of acclimate using this new logic to help you to kind of break through some of that scar tissue.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome, Sherry. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate you sharing this with us, and I know it's certainly going to help others who are, kind of dealing with similar issues, which we know there are plenty of.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat.
You're all in the same boat. That is the truth.
Okay. Thank you, Jared.
All right, you're very welcome. And again, for those that want to come on and potentially be a guest here, be the next, kind of coachee here. Fill out that questionnaire. Fill out that survey that was just posted in the link. Again, it's surveymonkey.com/r/NinjaTrader. And I'll pick a couple others for our next episode here. But now I'm going to get to your questions. So we've got a little bit of time here left to go through. I see a number of questions in here. Phoenix is asking, Jared, do you have any tips to work on or avoid any of the most common issues you've seen in traders? Yeah, what I would say is begin to get a clear look at what are the signals of those common issues that you're experiencing. Because I could make kind of blanket statements around FOMO or greed or overconfidence or revenge trading. But the reality is that any of those issues, right, regardless of what you're dealing with, or if you want to look at the specific trading mistakes that you're dealing with, begin to gather up some notes. I kind of alluded to this earlier around this sort of distinguishing between intuition and emotion, but just focus on the emotional side of it, right? Like really look at the specific thoughts that come to mind, like just before you make some big mistakes. Do you feel anything emotionally? Are there physical tells or signs, right? Do you have some kind of heat in your head, maybe tension in your hand? Do you grip the mouse? Do you zoom into one chart? Do you change to different time frames? Again, the patterning that exists internally, right, is just needs to be studied. So if you're going to be able to, address the common issues that you're facing, you have to be able to see them occur in real time and ideally occur early, right? Catch it early when your mind is not really that compromised. Right? The more emotion that is present, the less mental strength you have. And you need mental strength to fight against the emotion and continue to trade properly. So, your mind is not like this unlimited resource, right? It's vulnerable to fatigue, and it's vulnerable to emotions, right? You have to be aware of the things that can kind of take you down. And the way to do that is to study your own patterning, just like I mentioned. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, Sir VWAP, do you think to do things that you do, serve as a mental coach, that you need to be an LMHC? So it's a licensed mental health counselor. I've always wanted to pursue an MS in psychology or master's in psychology with a coach aspect, but unsure where to start. I've seen a lot of people. I came from poker. Originally in golf. Been working with traders at all levels for the last decade plus. Seen a lot of people come and go, and I do have a bias here. I think to really be able to dissect problems in a way that's quite generalizable. The training and the credentialing that I went through, which was about 5 years worth, it could not be replaced. It just can't be replaced. There's a big difference between being able to kind of solve your own issues and then being able to truly kind of get inside the minds of other people to understand what they need. So I think it really kind of depends on how impactful you want to be, right? You can certainly be impactful without going through that process. You're certainly going to be more impactful if you do. Saw a question here from Steve. Any advice on trading eval accounts versus funded accounts? The bottom line is like at any point in the game, right? Whether you're funded, whether you're getting payouts, whether you're in evals and kind of trying to break through, these emotional issues can come up. Now, certainly kind of some of these prop firms and the ways that they sort of create some, we'll call them, I don't want to say arbitrary rules, but the rules are sort of set up in their favor more than yours. I do believe that they're helpful in exposing emotional issues that you're going to experience at some point in your trading career. Right? If you can't trade from a disciplined, calm, sober, clear-minded, confident state in the evals or in funded accounts, you're going to struggle if you were trading your own account, right? So take advantage of the opportunities that they provide, but really make sure that you're not spending too much time paper trading or in demo accounts because it's not trading. I will make that very, very clear. It's not trading as much as being on the driving range is not golf. Right? There are two very different things because you have to include the human element. And when you're trading, these paper accounts, these demo accounts, like you remove all the human element, right? So it really kind of numbs your own senses and gives you perhaps a false sense of confidence, and really kind of I think diminishes your ability to be aggressively correcting the mental and emotional issues that you're facing. Okay, what else we have here? Yeah, we've still got about 8 minutes left here, so I'm happy to get through questions. I want to scroll back up here. All right, JD, you said this I think is an important point. Less a question, more of a statement. And this is not I don't pull these out as a point of criticism. I point them out because I want to be really accurate. I think just like in trading, precision matters a lot, right? The differences between having a strategy that's, kind of 80% baked, that extra 20% of what really defines successful long-term traders is sort of that secret sauce element that you just kind of get from a lot of experience. And so there's a lot of knowledge and ideas that are out there about psychology. And frankly, now with ChatGPT and a lot of these, kind of AI chatbots, a lot of people are turning to them for advice. And, I've seen some of them. They're pretty good, but, where they lack can be quite significant. So, at least at this point, I'd say still default to experts. Now, what you said here was the cherry was kind of identifying the statement, I'm bad at this. The same is true, I'm good at this. So, you can't really just kind of find a statement that you're saying to yourself and replace it with a positive one. right? We have to look at what's powering those negative statements, and sometimes it's illusions of control, it's wishes, it's hopes, it's expectations, as we saw with Cameron earlier, right? These negative thoughts that we have that we kind of can't get away, can't like kind of remove from our mind, they're kind of like weeds, right? You try to chop it out, you try to replace it with a flower, right? And as I've done in front of my house, there's the weeds they are sneaky little suckers, right? They will find a way to pop their head through. You have to get the root out, right? You can't just kind of chop it off, plant something new in there. You got to get to the root of those weeds. You got to get to the root of the issues, and in this case, get to the root of what was powering this idea of why I'm bad at this. And in Sherry's case, it was this sort of false confidence around her predictive abilities. But there's a host of those flaws that are out there: confirmation bias, prospect theory, the illusion of learning, hindsight bias. Right? There's a lot of them out there, and so you got to just start examining kind of what's behind it. And I think the easiest way to do that is just to ask yourself the why questions, right? Why do I believe that I'm bad at this? Right? And there has to be some kind of flaw, some wish, some illusion around that, because to make a statement, I'm bad at this, is completely fine if it again is not that serious. It's like, wow, I stink, but here's what I'm going to be doing. If it's I'm bad at this and there's a lot of weight, negative emotion kind of weighing you down, then there's clearly something else kind of going on here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Any advice? So this comes from Ismail. Any advice on learning how to get the habit of cutting losers quickly? So great kind of pivot here. You got to figure out, why is it that you are holding losers too long, right? I mean, just start asking yourself that question, either in the moment or in retrospect. So after a day where that occurs, ask yourself that question. Why did I hold? Common examples: hope. You're hoping that the sucker's going to turn around. Now, why would you hope that it's going to turn around? Well, you're hoping it's going to turn around because that would be a way of kind of saving your confidence, right? Your confidence is perhaps a little bit weakened. Maybe you're in a bit of a drawdown. Maybe you're still struggling and kind of hoping to kind of break through soon. So, realizing a loss feels like you're taking steps backwards, feels like you're not a good enough trader. When in fact, in actuality, it's the exact opposite. Like, being able to cut losers like within the way that you would in your strategy is actually what defines a skilled, competent trader. It's not the act of taking a loss, it's the act of cutting the loss that defines it. So, sometimes again, we could examine the reasons why you're unable to cut a loser, and then problem solve. And I give you kind of one example there, which might be impact, might be what's happening. And if it's not that, well, then certainly come back in the next episode of Retail Therapy, or maybe you'll become a guest. Fill out that survey. All right, a couple more questions here. Can you talk about some of the emotional issues that are involved with trying to scale up? Great question. Very common issue. To some degree, it's just kind of acclimating to kind of higher ground, right? If you're going to climb Mount Everest, you got base camp 1, you got base camp 2, right? And sometimes you're going to spend days or weeks, I don't know the exact time frame, but you're going to spend some time there kind of acclimating to the fact that there's just less oxygen. Body needs it, otherwise you risk dying, you risk, some really serious issues. So to some degree, it's just acclimating to it. But sometimes when you're scaling up, you start to get a little bit closer to your goals, to some of the dreams that you've envisioned for yourself. And that closeness adds a bit of pressure, right? Now again, if there's some expectations, as was the case with Cameron, if there's some hopes and some wishes attached to it, if there's some practical implications, like, oh, well, now I'm maybe close to reaching some, not just the scale, right, the individual trades you're taking, but the money that could be made from that might mean that I'll be able to become a full-time trader. I'll be able to quit the job that I'm, don't hate, but it's not the freedom that I really want for myself. There becomes extra pressure there. Embrace the pressure, right? People oftentimes think of pressure as being bad. There's a great quote from Billie Jean King, hangs on the center court of, the USD National Tennis Center where they have the US Open. Right? Pressure is a privilege. And what that means is that you have to earn the right to feel that uncomfortable. So here you are in a position now to scale up and size up and, realize your dreams. Well, that might feel uncomfortable, but that does not mean that it's bad. It's not wrong for your body to feel uncomfortable and tense. It means that you're actually, care, right? That this matters to you. So again, it's a privilege. It's a right that you've earned to be in this position. Not a lot of people do. I'll give you one example from golf. A couple years ago, Cam Smith won the British Open, and he described at the end of that round, of the post conference, that he could not feel his hands for the last 6 holes. Okay, we're talking about a guy who his only connection to the golf club is his hands, and putting is a big deal, right? You have to have like feel and touch, and he hit some incredible putts, incredible short game shots down the stretch. Couldn't feel his hands. Why? Because the pressure was too intense. So if he interpreted that feeling as being bad, there's no way he chokes, right? He does not perform as well as he did, but instead, he's been used to feeling that kind of pressure. His body's been kind of acclimated to it. So the pressure is not bad, right? What you feel when you're sizing up is not bad. It's actually something that you've earned. Enjoy the discomfort and find a way to thrive. All right, everybody. Great questions. Really thank our 2 guests here today, Cameron and Sherry, did a phenomenal job. Talking through some issues that look, sometimes this stuff is hard to deal with. I know many of you are sometimes reticent to addressing the mental and emotional issues that you have because this stuff can kind of feel like there's something wrong with you. It's not easy to describe. It's it's hard. But the reality is like what you're dealing with is functional, right? That there's something blocking you. There's some weak points that are no different than having weak points in your trading strategy, no different than having weak points in your physicality, right? Having a sprain in your ankle. We treat mental and emotional issues with the same kind of pragmatism, practicality, and you can not just control or protect yourself around these issues. You can actually solve them, eliminate them, and truly transform your trading. So, really thank everybody for joining me today. Excited to be here. It's been great. Again, once again, fill out that survey. We'd love to see some new faces here next time on Retail Therapy. And until then, wish everybody well. Take care.